I'm Sofi, and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And today I'll be sharing on the start of our refuge vows, which pertains to the mind, overcoming envy and jealousy. It's pertaining to envy, but I'll be doing the session on how to overcome envy and jealousy. Okay, envy is defined in the dictionary as a feeling of discontent or resentful longing arisen by someone else's possessions or qualities or luck. Jealousy is actually synonymous to envy, but it goes one step further to cover feelings or showing suspicion of someone's unfaithfulness in a relationship, or fiercely being protective or vigilant of one's right or possession, or demanding faithfulness and exclusive worship. This is in the case of the worshipping of God. So it's for jealousy, it's that you have something and you start feeling, like maybe suspicious or distrustful, and start to doubt, insecure, anxious, protective, vigilant, watchful, heedful. This is all stemming from your possession that you think you have. Okay, jealousy is an emotion that rises, when we see someone getting praise, or maybe someone getting recognition, or getting rewarded, and maybe a promotion, and then you'll be feeling, unhappy because it is not you. It actually is not much as in you're not happy with that person, but you're unhappy because the situation brings out the fact that you are not the person who's receiving it. So in that sense, their achievement, has made you realize, that you yourself, could have done that. You could have achieved that, but due to your own maybe laziness, you didn't want to give up your comfort, or simply just didn't want to, and as such, someone else gets the reward while you're unhappy. Okay, jealousy, can make you uneasy, have no peace and be unhappy, act in a way that you feel negative, and feeds into your negativity. If you don't understand the reason for it or learn to overcome it, jealousy just grow to a point, where you'll be very lonely and no one wants to be around you, and you can become so possessive, that you frighten people away, and you could develop unreasonable anger at others that may lead to, even worse situation. Unreasonable, why? Because everything stems from you and your delusion. So, it's not on other people, it's actually arising from your own mind and your thoughts. So a quote by His Eminence, the 25th Sam Tuku Rinpoche: jealousy is a thief that robs you of peace, friendships, respect, and growth. Fight your jealousy, not the people who succeed. Fight your jealousy, not your friends. So how do you overcome envy or jealousy? First of all, you need to really rejoice for that person who has earned his praise, his promotion, or his reward. He did put in the effort and he did make it successful. So as such, try to rejoice for that person. And not really try, but basically you really have to really examine that, he did put in the effort. And also, as karma goes, you reap what you sow. So in that way, he have put in the effort, and then in the end, he gets the end result of being rewarded. So number 2, examine, that and realize that it is actually due to your own lack of actions that you did not receive the same. So instead of being jealous, wasting the effort, in something negative, why don't you use the effort, to turn it around and be positive? Turn it around so that you turn it into positive actions to spur you on, to inspire you to do more in the future, to achieve the same in the future. And then number 3, maybe at the same time, you have to realize that everything is impermanent. Nothing is, it will stay the same. So like people, things, or situation, nothing is permanent, and the results is actually really within your own grasp. So start working to change your attitude, towards the positive, and learn to overcome your obstacles and work harder to break through your laziness. Nothing belongs to us upon death. So why hold on and make ourselves unhappy? Especially, with people that you think belongs to you, like maybe your boyfriend, your husband, your parents, your children, or your friends. You really need to realize that due to the impermanence, they may eventually be gone. Well, if you're lucky, it's due to old age, that they will pass on. But how can you be sure of that? There's no guarantee that they will reach old age. So when you realize the impermanence of it, then you'll be grateful, for the time to spend with them. And as such, you treasure them without any attachment, because you realize that, you can't hold on to them. And then, the time spent with them, you'll be a much happier feeling, that a lighter feeling, that you don't have that possessive thing in you. So, that's why it's quite important that we meditate on impermanence. And here is something that Rinpoche had always advised us to recite daily. And this is the 8 verses of thought transformation by Geshe Langri Tangpa. There is even one verse that especially addresses, how a recipient of jealousy should respond. See, when others out of jealousy mistreat me with abuse, slander, and so on, I will practice accepting defeat and offering the victory to them. It's really powerful, don't you think? Practice accepting defeat and offering the victory to them. In other words, letting go of our ego, and to be the ego to that needing to be right, and to take on their suffering, because you know that they are suffering, so you offer the victory to them. So it goes further than that, but this is basically what it says. And I'll be sharing the link, to these 8 verses of thought transformation later in my FB page. When we set the motivation to benefit all sentient beings, these 8 verses, that once you understand and practice, you really are overcoming ourselves, to benefit others. Okay, there's a question, that I found that is in the Rinpoche's blog. And the question is actually from a recipient of jealous acts, So his question was, I respectfully pose the question in this manner, and it's addressed to dear Rinpoche and dear pastors. When you are able to succeed in a field and your friends can't accept your success, some may put up a gossip, calling you a scumbag that betrayed our friends or for success, or even harm you constantly. Sometimes even family members are also involved. They hate your success because these people always think that your attitude is permanent. And this type of people are really smart. They usually drag you down, beat you with their experience by taking your past negative actions as an evidence to support their fear and jealousy. As a Buddhist, how can we apply the Dharma to solve the situation? Since friends and family members consider a part of samsara is an illusion. If we apply ignorance attitude on them, will it be beneficial or solvable, or a bad karma? If they constantly harm us, what should we do? Our patience has limits. We are not a Buddha. I hope that I can get a beneficial answer. Thank you very much in advance. So although he is quite specific, but generally, those people who has been a recipient of jealousy, I would say that the answer is quite applicable. So the answer is, the reply: it is possible that the difficulties and conflicts you are experiencing are due to karma from this and past lives. Since you are a Buddhist, you should know that the primary characteristic of samsara is suffering. In samsara, things can appear to be very confusing, and sometimes we feel that it is impossible to solve our problems and be free of this confusion, which is suffering. I urge you to put your Dharma knowledge into practice. Now is the time to practice patience, forgiveness, and kindness. Do not react to criticism with anger. Otherwise, you will not be able to overcome your own shortcomings or faults. Read the 8 verses of mind transformation by Geshe Langre Tangpa. One of the verses reads, "When others out of jealousy treats me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I learn to take all the loss and offer the victory to them." So this is the same reply that was one of the suggestions that I've given. So basically, to overcome jealousy, don't focus inwards. You realize that it's coming from your mind, and oftentimes it's from delusion. So always try to focus out and how to benefit others. Rejoice in the success of others, and let it be an inspiration for you to achieve the same. Don't rest in your jealousy, because it does not bring you to any place better. So that's it. I'll end it for here today, and thank you for sharing the time with me. So I will see if there's any questions. Sorry, it's taking a bit of time. So I'm just using my mobile phone for the Facebook, to get the questions, but it's still not processing. Okay, someone has given me the computer. Right, a question from Yi Yin Teo. How can we know if we are really rejoicing for someone or we are faking it? When you rejoice for someone, you really feel the happiness within you. You feel the happiness for that person. Even if you're faking it, it's good, because you are turning your attention away from your jealousy, and you are making the effort, to actually rejoice for someone. So in that way, with practice, it'll be eventually, you feel the real rejoice for others. So it does not matter if you fake it. Sometimes, I've been told before, fake it until it becomes real. And from Valentina, is it wrong to expect loyalty from our loved ones? This I can't really answer you, because usually this will be coming from me, okay? Usually we would expect that loyalty from our loved ones. Why? Because they are they are related to us, and we think that we love them, but the thing is, actually you are really setting a conditional love. But the thing is, this is not a question that I can answer very well, and I would prefer that if I were to, I would to look up any related ones reply that is good, and I'll reply you at a later date. Okay, from Joy. Is there any meditation, mantra or practice that we can do to help overcome our jealousy? Actually, there is a lot. One of them that I have read just earlier was Tara. You know, Tara is always full of love, and she will help us to overcome all the negative traits that we have. And but I can enclose the link to Rinpoche's teachings later, so that you can visit the site and to read up the full application of it. And from Pastor Adeline, how can someone tell if they have envy and jealousy issues, as they are quite subtle? Yes, a lot of negative emotions are, you know, that's in us, that is quite subtle. But the thing is, even though how subtle it may be, you will feel a bit of unhappiness, and from that unhappiness, then you can tell that, you know, it's something that is not right. So you need to examine, you know, what is that reason, you know, for your unhappiness. And basically, because it's stemming from your own mind, so you really need to do a self-examination and to realize, you know, what your unhappiness comes from. Because if you do not understand it, maybe actually if you don't understand that unhappiness, if you think that it's something else, then maybe you could, you know, look for a pastor. You know, our Kachara, we have a lot of pastors who could help and find out the issue. But because as I mentioned before, you know, jealousy, it can build up, and it tends to generate into anger, which is very bad. Very bad that for the anger to grow, and karmically it would, you know, affect our practice as well. But the thing is, I think I have not answered the question properly. So let me find the answer and answer you more thoroughly. And Pastor Shin, you mentioned that one of the antidotes of jealousy is realize the impermanence of things, people, and situations. How can we do that? Well, as our practice, we should actually, it's been advised that we should actually meditate on death. So you just realize that no matter what we have now, it will end someday. Let's say if we have our youth, then we grow older, you know, and if we have our vitality, maybe once you're older, you don't have that anymore. And you know, if the people, from the day that you are born, you are already, you know, dying, because every day your cells, you know, it dies and replaces. So once you are at the old age, or maybe if you are sick or something, you know, you will just, you know, die, and that is not permanent. Or, you know, let's say maybe if you have your wealth today, and due to some crisis you may just lose it. Or, you know, even if your children, you know, you have your children with you today, once they grow up, they will go and start their own family, or, you know, do their own things, so they are not there for you maybe. And, you know, all these things are all impermanent. So just have to realize it, and realize that there's no point that we put an attachment to it. The more we are attached to it, the more fear that we have of losing it. So in not putting attachments, or whatever time we spend with them, there will be, you know, something happy, because you don't have that attachment, that fear anymore. Well, if there's any more questions, I'll answer it, you know, later in my Facebook page. Thank you very much. So I'll do a completion dedication now. Jang yu sen jo ren bo shi ma ge pa nam ge yu shi ge pa nam pa me pa yang go ni gon du pe wa shu to ni to wa ren bo shi ma ge pa nam ge yu shi ge pa nam pa me pa yang go ni gon du pe wa shu da so ji ni sa pa ge wa di dan dan ro wa go na gam pa da je pa je su no san tra pa yi tam ping yin po ring du sa se shu ge wa kun tu yin da la ma da dra mi jo ki pa la lo jo che sa dam lang yi yat te ra zo ni do je cha ni no pa ga tu sa ge wa kun tu yin da ke wadi yududa lama sangyo driyo ne driyo wachi kya malupa de sala ko pasho choki kya ko sunga pa chosu nampa pe wala ge ki samasi wada tungi malu sawasho dada songi de sunda driyo wa songi latinde ke wala santra pai tampa yu riva yu shi ni modele sendele ni mi gunyan dele shi ni sinta to dele pa kuncho sungi jingi lo kuncho sungi ngodru so kuncho sungi tra si sho jesu nama kusen rap ting ching nam ka trini chochi ke pada lo sam tempe dro me sam songi dro e mun sa ta to ni gi shi kang we ra we ko we shin kam de pen dan de wa ma lu gyo ne chen ren zik wan ten sing ge so yi sha be shi de ba do de gi shi kom tom pe ngo tru ma lu pa den de da la sao du so ko dan den pa long chok na ke pa so shik shuk ten sel. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you tomorrow.